First Watch now.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
Well, let's start with football, because tonight we have canceled the game for tonight, but we're going to regroup and see if we can come up with a game for next week.
Right, and I'm not going to give a lot on this right now because there's not a lot to give. All I know is we were told yesterday that we've been put on hold for Buena High School games due to the fact there's some policy that was discovered, which means, and again, I want to keep it very simple, but I want to say a word, and I'm going to highlight it, disappointment. I got to say that because this is on the back of the kids. I mean, talking to the Buena kids and being a coach out there as long as I have and having the ability to showcase our local high school and showcase their sports programs, mainly for me, football, and in honor of Steve Kurtz and Kevin Caroline that did it for over 40 years, and to see it put on hold because some policy was discovered that, that we profit on the back of kids. Well, let me just say something. I mean, you show me a media, hard copy, radio, video, that doesn't take sponsorships from our national news all the way down. So I don't understand the logic, but then again, I want to be respectful to the school, but I'm very guarded on this one. I'm very disappointed.
So the school's still they're still having the football games, but they're not allowing like outside, like radio or bloggers or Facebook people to come in and to announce the games or to videotape the games or to show them live. So that's not an option. So I guess getting into the weeds a little bit, so I want to make sure you have like a television station out of Tucson that does games. They go around to different schools and then they have the games of the week. So pretty similar stuff. So I want to make sure that we can get this sorted out as quickly as possible and get back on track.
Well, we do because you got to look at the intent, and you also got to look at the historical. Historical builds up to presence, but there's a press box at Buena High School for Kevin Caroline and Steve Kurtz that did this for decades. And I had the honor to work with them over the last several years before the passing of Steve Kurtz. And so this is not like a new phenomenon here. It's like guess what, we're going to do this tomorrow. This is our first time we're going to try this, and we're put on hold. This is something that's been going on for 4 decades. So it is. It's a little bit frustrating. I appreciate Town Square Media. I respect the request that we're going to suspend this based on the school's request, but I hope we just have some reasonable common sense resolution in that and everything we do. But to improv it 24 hours before a game, that's when I was notified, or Grady, you were notified, and again, as a sheriff, Jeff and I, and we don't get paid for this. This is a volunteer thing we do for kids. I've never got a check for doing that. I don't want money for doing that. That's our way, and as a sheriff, as elected sheriff of the county, that's the way I give back to the kids and the youth throughout Cochise County, not just Buena, but throughout. And so to see a school do that is just amazing.
Well, going back, they had the game last week, the big rivalry between Douglas and Bisbee. And, man, that started out on some rocky terrain before the game. So how did it go?
It was packed, Carol. It was completely packed. I mean, this is not a game between Bisbee High School and Douglas High School. This is a game between the community of Bisbee and the community of Douglas, and that was apparent last Friday when those communities, it was standing room only. I mean, they were just coming in there, standing room only, but it was a good game. Douglas won it 10-8. It was anybody's game. It was a game of opportunities and a game of mishaps on both sides, but it was Douglas' first game, Bisbee's second game, and I love calling that game though, because there's so much energy there, and the crowds are up and down and up and down. So it was fun to call that game, and we'll be back next year for the pick. And it was embracing because we showed up. This is what's unique about it. I think maybe you're hitting on this. So Douglas Police Department's actually there at Bisbee. So they have 3 or 4 patrol cars there. And they got part of the street for them. They started tailgating at 1 o'clock, both teams. I mean, what is this, collegiate? And then you got Bisbee with 3 or 4 cop cars there. So, and the street's like divided. And I'm like, you think you're setting up some energy there? But either way, it was a great event. Both teams walked away feeling pretty good, I think, though. Even though it was 10-8, it was a very competitive game.
And it was rougher before, a couple days before, because somehow the Iron Man at the courthouse ended up with a Douglas jersey on.
Ouch. Ouch.
That didn't last a whole long time, and then somehow it got cut off, and a Bisbee jersey ended up. And somehow it got cut off. So this was a back and forth until, I don't know, fate, moon aligned with Venus. Bisbee and Douglas both had representatives there to ensure that the Ironman stayed bare-chested, and they got into a little bit of a thing, a little brouhaha. So they had to stop that pretty quickly. So I guess it's a good thing that everybody comes out, and it's a good thing that they're able to shake hands and walk away at the end.
Well, again, and let me just say this. That's good community high school football. It really is on both sides of the house, and they're all competitive communities. And what's amazing is both teams, I mean, those are alumni teams. What I mean by the fans is they went to the Bisbee High School, they went to Douglas High School, to include both respective coaches. And so, I mean, there's just a lot of tension in that crowd. But I wish that was the worst thing I had to worry about as the sheriff in the county. I wish it was the worst thing I had to worry about for crime. You put a shirt on the Copperman, dear, dear. So, but no, it was a great game to call. And again, we missed it last year for some reasons. So it was nice to get back down this year, and they were very embracing to us and stuff. And but again, it's the same reason we do all the games here in Cochise County is to showcase their schools, get their athletic directors and those folks. And I just going back to Buena, if I don't want to hash that, but when I notified the leadership of Buena High School, they were running for mayor, what was going on with this. They had no idea it was canceled, or we were canceled. I say Town Square Media. So, and they were going to work on some things today. So, but it's just very unfortunate. But we'll continue calling kids and showcasing our youth. And I know it's Jay here from the Boys and Girls is in the studio with us, so that's what he does every day too.
Well, let's talk about some international news, because the world is now mourning the loss of Queen Elizabeth II.
Wow. Royalty, iconic, you name it. I mean, what a competitor of life, too. I mean, she's led the world, not just her country, but the world when it comes to her influence. And what they say, 17, how many presidents she has encountered? It's just incredible. All the way back to 1951, I believe it was. And again, I'm no historian, but it's like, that's a remarkable legacy that, man, I mean, we're going to miss her.
She did a lot of great things for, you're right, internationally. And so it's going to be unfortunate. It's going to be unfortunate. So best wishes to all the family, and to King Charles III is who's taking over. In
fact, I was getting dressed to come over here this morning, kind of running late, and I saw he was walking in to the palace. He was walking in there. I mean, this is historical, too, as we watch that. It's truly historical. So rest in peace.
Well, coming up next week, we've got the national sheriffs visiting, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. We have the opportunity here. They asked me last year if I'd be willing, our sheriff's office and our community would be willing to host the National Sheriff Conference, Western Sheriff's Conference, Major County Sheriffs, and Southwest Border Sheriffs. Those four associations coming together. So we have sheriffs from all over the country coming in this weekend. The conference starts on Monday morning, 8 o'clock. So we're excited about that. We get to showcase, we're talking about football here in schools, now we get to showcase our sheriff's office, our community, Cochise County. So we're really excited about that. And our opening ceremony is Monday, 8 o'clock. And we're going to do some pretty neat things throughout the week. Meetings until Thursday, doing some different things around Cochise County. But one thing we're going to do right after opening ceremony is a tribute to Sheriff Larry Deaver. Carol?
That's right. So this is the 10th year that he has passed. So we're going to make sure that the family is there, and they're going to be able to speak to all of the people that are there, tell them what's been going on, and I guess just honor the legacy of Larry Deaver. Amazing person, great sheriff, and so they're going to be there with that. And a lot of the people that are supposed to be in attendance actually worked with him.
Yes, and you and I both have worked with Larry our whole careers. I mean, when I got hired on, you got hired on in the 80s. He was there. I mean, we watched him grow from a young deputy to a sergeant. In fact, he got promoted to sergeant right after I got hired, and then all the way up to one of the best sheriffs Cochise County's seen. And I truly, truly meant that. I worked for him for 28 and a half years, and I learned a lot from this man. Truly learned a lot, and it's tragic his loss. But we're going to pay tribute to him on Monday. Him and Nancy, his wife. And we'll be there, and Brendan and Brad and all the boys are coming down, by understanding. But it's just an opportunity to recognize somebody. It's his 10th anniversary of his passing. So, again, that'll be Monday morning.
And there's also a retirement coming up that you wanted to talk about.
Yes, Dave Gonzalez. He's the Arizona U.S. Marshal. Used to work for the, I think it was Department of Public Safety, and then I believe he worked for one of the sheriff's offices in the state. But he's been U.S. Marshal since I've been sheriff for the last decade. So he's retiring today. His official retirement's at lunchtime in Phoenix. So on behalf of as president of the Arizona Sheriff Association, I'm going to go up and present him a plaque. So I'm going to run up there after this show and take care of that. But we wish you well, Dave. I know you're not listening to this show. If you are, wow, it's a shock. But we wish you well, and thank you for your public service and for your service to this state.
And talking about public service, there's a person that was honored with a multitude of things, and she passed earlier this year, but they had a ceremony for her, Ruth Britton. And so you went to the ceremony.
I did. And Ruth Britton, her husband Joe Britton, was a Sheriff's Assist Team member, retired colonel. And it was, I went to Joe's services several years ago, and then to go to Ruth's yesterday, same church over there on Lenzner. And it was a beautiful ceremony. It was well-packed, well attended. But, a little bit about Ruth. And she was Miss Community. She was one of those that just put her heart into this community. And a lot of people don't realize in 2015, Ruth was awarded the Governor's Volunteer Service Award for lifetime service to the state of Arizona. That's a heck of an achievement. But she was involved in everything. Education, she was a former teacher, which are my heroes. And so we're going to miss her. I'll just say. I talked to her about 2 weeks before she passed away and gave her a hug. And she was in great spirits like she always was. But it was hard news to hear when she passed away. But rest in peace, Ruth, and you and Joe are back together again up there.
The events are headed our way because here we come into fall and fourth quarter and Christmas, and it's all coming up. And the Bisbee Car Show's coming up.
It's festive time, Grady.
Yes.
It's festive time.
Festive.
From the month of September that we're in to October, every weekend is packed. Mm-hmm. Every weekend is packed. And the first kicks off in a sad ceremony, but a remember ceremony is the 9/11 ceremony, which is coming up this Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So...
yeah, it's going to be Sunday at the fire station that's going to be right across from the mall. They have a beautiful thing there, and let me confirm that location. But yes, it's at 6 o'clock. They're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance. They're going to have the firefighters there. Anyone who wants to attend, please go by there. And they do a really good job in that ceremony every year. They
do. It's a nice ceremony. It's a community-driven ceremony, like throughout the nation. Ceremonies will be throughout the nation this week. And so, and I would ask and encourage people, especially our young folks that are in high school, they weren't here. They weren't here when this happened. So take a moment, reflect. If you weren't here, go back and look at the history. 9/11 taught us all something we should never, never forget as we secure and embrace this country.
And the Cochise County Fair is also coming up.
Yes, it is. And that, with COVID obviously coming to an end, and I know people would argue with me on that statement, but the bottom line is it should be up, active, and well populated this year. So, and the county fair is something that we take a lot of pride in. Carol, I know you and the team we up on the stage. We've asked all our county departments this year to join us up on the stage but come see your county government. It's a county fair, county sheriff's office, county government. That's when we come together and support our county fair. So come see us, come see the animals, and I look at county fairs as an American tradition, but also a family tradition.
Those are two separate things. Come see us and come see the animals.
That's true. Two separate things.
Yes, two separate
Please
things.
don't blend that. I can see an article coming on that.
That's right. And let me jump back because I don't want a fire person yelling at me. So the ceremony is at Julio Cesar. They're stationed there, their main station, 675 Julio Cesar. So make sure you go over to the 9/11 ceremony if you have some time and you're in that side of town.
Grand, yes. That's a nice ceremony.
And then also coming up is the Cochise County Sheriff's Charity Ride. That's coming up in November, but it's already starting to heat up.
It is. And again, we talked about that. We'll continue to remind that. And this year we're giving out $100,000. And I want to thank our community. That's where the money comes from. We don't put our pennies in a jar throughout the year. This comes through the community donation, through our outreach program. So this year, our recipients are, of course, Jay's here, the Boys and Girls Club of Sierra Vista.
Mm-hmm. Benson Shop with a Cup program.
Lori's Place, the Cochise Family Advocacy Center.
and Peaches Pantry,
Heroes Healing, Heroes Outdoors,
and Cochise Education Foundation,
A Tree for Christmas,
the Nomads Motorcycle and ATV Club,
Service a Dream Center for Buena High School Weight Room, and that's to help Buena High School athletes,
and CWIJ Hospice Incorporated out of Wilcox. So we do have organizations from throughout the county.
We do, and we don't make this centric to Sierra Vista. I mean, we always try to recognize a veterans group, we recognize a youth group, and we really like to help our schools. I mean, and I just saw, we were given to the Wilcox, we gave to them a couple of years ago, to the Wilcox Quarterback Club. I don't know if you saw that. There was an embezzlement case on that, where they embezzled the funds out of that.
That's right.
An internal, which is very, very sad. I mean, you're stealing from kids and youth. What the heck's wrong with you? I just shouldn't say it like that, but truly, what is wrong with you steal from kids? But so I know the community came back together to help replenish that fund to get kids helping, because that it's just not about football. It helps youth within the Wilcox area. So I know we helped them in the past, and so that's some of the things we do.
And hopefully they recoup some of their losses out of that.
I think they raised $6,000 within a very short time on a GoFundMe account. So again, community stepping up to help their kids.
And if you want to get your charity ride tickets, you can do that right now. They are available
At cochise.az.gov/sheriff, and then there's another /charity-ride. But you'll be able to find it when you go to cochise.az.gov/sheriff, because pretty prominent there on the bottom of the page. Just do a few clicks and you'll be there.
And I want to give a shout out to our two big sponsors that make it happen every year, and that's Lawley Automotive Group, and I talked to Sean Lawley yesterday, and also American Southwest Credit Union, Jay over there. They pay our expenses. So every dollar that Sergeant Ray McNeely, Allison Hatfield, when she worked here and actually initiated this program, when we go out and collect money from the community to support these causes, 100% goes to the cause. So I'm very impressed. So thank you to Lawley's and American Southwest Credit Union.
And this is the 10th year, so this is why it's so big. $10,000, 10 charities. The thing that came up in the last meeting was, okay, so starting next year, we're going to ratchet it back down to the normal 3 charities. And I don't know how you do that when you go big or you go home. So we'll see how that works next year.
And
don't be afraid, Ray. Don't be afraid.
I was just going to say that. If you guys know Sergeant Ray McNeely, you'll know why we're saying that. I mean, bringing him back down to 3 charities, but we have to. I mean, because the community stepped up with us for our 10th anniversary. They truly stepped up. But we can't keep that pressure on. This community is giving in so many ways. So, but this year has been good with us.
And also, let's talk about a sex trafficking grant that we've received.
Cool.
So we had a meeting last week, and then they had a lot of people down from different organizations, and they were talking about how they can help Cochise County, what would be beneficial for Cochise County. And something that's been in the pot for a little bit simmering, and hopefully it'll be done soon, is a big building for a lot of agencies to go in, and it will be border-centric, crime syndicate-centric, and it'll have a lot of local, state, and national players inside of that, and that includes addressing human trafficking, because we're all looking at that right now every single day. Even though we're not posting every one of our stops, there was just another one again last night, with this type of situation. So we're bringing all these people together, and so we're looking for a way to fund it, and I think we've been pretty fortunate in that.
We have, and what we're looking for is a multifaceted approach to address border smuggling. And we know, just watch the news, any news, and you'll see that they're exploiting people. They're exploiting children. They're exploiting females under sex trafficking. So we want to actually have a focus within our Intel Center, our Operations Center, that addresses. So we have an organization that's stepping up and that's going to help us fund that, bring in experts, so we can start identifying these children that are being sex trafficked, women, men, anybody that's been exploited through the criminal cartels that are designated victims. And they're all designated victims in my mind, but in this case they're being designated victims due to the fact is for evil crimes. And so, again, that group's going to be coming in, just another component of what we're doing when it comes to our war against the cartels.
And another event that's coming up is the National Night Out. That happens early in October, and all of the law enforcement agencies get together to kind of blend with the community and hang out and kind of show off, and then also get thanks back from the community as well.
It is, and that's one of the better attended. The only event that beats us, I think, on that is when Animal Control brings their animals to the park. We just can't compete against those animals. I don't know, but otherwise, I mean, that's a huge event that night, and the people come out, so we're excited about National Night Out. Again, a Veterans Park coming up here soon, but, I mean, if you look on our Facebook page, you look in community pages, you'll see that every weekend, whether it be Eldorado, whether it be Rex Allen Days, I mean, you name it, there's something going on.
And so with that, a lot of people get involved with their law enforcement, like National Night Out. One of the other programs that has kick-started off in Cochise County, and the people from the Linus Project contacted us. And so what they're doing is they're making blankets. They have a group that come together in Tucson. It started, and so they wanted to see if there was a need in Cochise County, and we're fortunate to have them assist us. They've taken their time and effort, and they make blankets, and they make them in 3 different sizes. They make infant, they make children, and they make young adults, so that goes up to 17 years of age. So if you come across, as a law enforcement person, you come across a kid in need, you have a case where there's a fire, or even you just come into contact with a pretty bad situation, a domestic situation, you notice some way that you can comfort one of these children is to give them this blanket that was made with love by somebody here in our community. So we just got another 30 blankets yesterday, and they're beautiful. They're just absolutely beautiful. So the first group we put with the fire departments. This time they got their own numbers, and so we have more for the sheriff's office. So we're going to make sure that we issue those out to our personnel in case they come across somebody in need. So thank you to the Linus Project for starting in Cochise County.
We have so many groups that just help our victims. I mean, just step up and help our youth, our elderly. I mean, continuing to donate those gifts, those gestures when it comes to a young child that maybe is involved in a car crash and mom and dad are hurt, and we have to address that. And when we can give them a blanket or a teddy bear or something to comfort them. I mean, so again, thank you so much to all the groups that stand up at the Lions Club there. Thank you so much.
We want to remind everybody that there is a jail district public meeting going on next Friday, and if you've missed any of the last ones, we're kind of in the middle, you can go catch up on those. You can find those on the links to them on our Facebook page, on the web page, on the county web page. But moving forward, we've got a couple more weeks going forward for the jail district. We do, and those meetings have been very, very proactive, very productive when it comes to educating this committee, this community committee of citizens that have been selected by different individuals to sit, and they all come from different aspects of the county, different backgrounds, to sit and learn about the jail, learn about the challenges we're addressing, the good, the bad, the ugly, and then the ugly again, unfortunately, because it's been 40 years since we had this jail. So I know next Friday, I believe they're doing a tour of the jail. They're going to do a tour and actually see the facility. They've heard about the spacing. They've heard about the infrastructure. They've heard about the impact. They've heard about the border impact on it. You name it. Now they're going to go see the facility, and I like to call it a museum. Many people come through there. We're using it as an educational thing right now. We when it's all done, we need to make this a museum fundraiser for the county. That's a good idea. Well, do you have a stop of the week this week?
I do, and it goes into my safety message. And we're getting a little complacent on this. When we go up to an intersection, everybody likes to do U-turns. But my stop of the week came, I was at an intersection yesterday, Foothills and 92, and making a left-hand turn, and light turn, or the arrow turned green. The car in front of me just does a quick U-turn. Well, you stop the flow of traffic because nobody knows what you're doing. But if you look right in front, there's a sign that says, no U-turns. So I stopped the individual, and he even told me, he goes, yeah, I didn't. I know. So bottom line is this. I get it. We change our minds. We want to go a different direction. That is illegal. That's a violation of failure to follow a traffic control device. You have to follow it. It's no different than going through a red light. It's no different. So, folks, be safe out there. Look at the traffic control devices and be safe.
And if you say, I'm just saying, I heard this once, I didn't see the sign, that doesn't matter. You have to pay attention while you're driving.
And this is not to be insultive, but ignorance of the law is not a defense of the law.
That's right.
And so many people, it's just like you stop somebody and where they didn't know their license was suspended. That's not a defense. Not knowing is not a defense, and that's actually under statute. So bottom line is this: is ignorance of the law is not a defense of the law. And I tell people you have to know what's in your car. You have to know if your license is valid. So I always tell people if you're going to loan your car out, when you get it back, you might want to check it.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thanks, Grady. Thanks, Carol. Everybody have a safe week.
And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Jay from the Boys and Girls Club.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
By Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County. So, hey, Jay.
Good
Glad to have you
morning.
here. So,
Thanks
Boys and
so
Girls
much
Club.
for having me.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about what's going on.
We have a lot going on, a lot of fun stuff, and we'll see what we can hit. But our first thing we have coming up is our annual dinner coming up on October 1st. Exciting time. We'll be having all the information out that night. We get to learn about our man, woman, and volunteer of the year, along with our alumni of the year. It's a good night that we celebrate people, we celebrate kids, and we get to celebrate the great thing this community has helped the Boys and Girls Club do over the last year. And we have, one of the other things that we have is the Legacy Foundation and Arizona Community Foundation. They came together and they gave us $10,000 in grants to renovate our art room. Because if you don't know the Boys and Girls Club, we do sports, we do arts, we do homework help, we have a teen center, we have a social recreation area, we have sports leagues. And the idea is to make sure we do this cost effective for all the families and making sure any family's financial situation doesn't prevent their kid from accessing our services. So that's one thing we're really excited about is to renovate our art room. You get a new art room in there for the kids because they do everything from drawing, painting, to photography, and arts and crafts. So we're excited about that too. In addition to that, we have $20,000 from Cox to renovate our tech lab. So a brand new tech room that's going to allow us to get brand new computers in there for the kids. No more dinosaur computers, you know what I mean? And a Cricut, if you guys know what a Cricut is, to teach kids how to use that. But one of the most exciting things is we've really focused on STEM. So one of the most exciting things is getting multiple 3D printers in that room for the kids to be able to do. If you don't know what a 3D printer is, anything you could think of, you can make it.
And so what are your age? You can only go till what are the ages that can go?
So we serve school-age youth, so 1st grade to 12th grade. So we have kids all over, and then the school district provides a transportation from the school right to our front door. So the nice thing is for parents is they drop off kids in the morning, and then they don't have to do anything until they pick up their kids from the Boys and Girls Club in the afternoon.
That's pretty cool. And you guys are also going to be a recipient of the charity ride this year. That's $10,000 that'll head your way in November.
That is phenomenal. And $10,000 goes a long way, I'm sure, for every nonprofit on that list, but it goes a long way for our Boys and Girls Club and helping the kids that we serve on a daily basis. So it's a phenomenal. We're glad we're part of it. And when I saw our name on the poster and saw the action going on, I could have been more excited for our club.
And remember, everybody can get their tickets online. You can go to the coacheast.az.gov/sheriff and just find the link there. You can purchase your tickets for the charity ride, and that helps the Boys and Girls Club of Sierra Vista. And also, you guys have you have one main campus, but then you have some satellites. Is it just one satellite?
Just one satellite. So we have our main club on Paseo San Luis, and that's open year-round. And then we also have our satellite club located at Carmichael School. So it's a partnership we did with the school district a few years back to make sure we're serving all the kids in the community, especially those in need. Some of the people at Carmichael, some of the families that we serve, they don't have transportation. So we talked to parents before the Carmichael site, and they said, look, we would love to have our kids participate in your program, but we can't get there. I understand the bus takes the kids to the club, but we can't get to the Boys and Girls Club to pick up our kids. So we worked together and brought the Boys and Girls Club to them. So a lot of our families walk to the doors to pick up their kids, and they walk right home. But we pick up the kids right after school, and then we get started with the fun, with the homework help, with our 3D printing program. They just started a music program over there. So, but we do a lot over there. We're grateful that we have that opportunity.
And you mentioned homework help. Does that include tutoring, or is it just like that night's homework?
It's both. So we have a tutoring program for families that sign them up, and we have dedicated volunteers or mentors to them. And then we also have our homework help that's for all youth. And that's mandatory Monday through Friday during the school year.
And so how many kids do you have in each, like at your main campus and at your Carmichael campus?
So currently at the Carmichael campus, we are about 50, 60 kids. The main branch is about 100, 110. So we're serving about 150 to 170 kids a day, depending what's going on. And then it's the beginning of the school year, so we really it's kind of weird, but we peak around December, January, how many kids we serve. And so we're excited to be able to start off the school year with this number. And we haven't since COVID because of things, but we're looking to get it back to serving over 1,000 kids a year that are registered. We're not just talking about through events. The kids that are registered coming to the after-school program, we're looking to serve over 1,000 kids a year.
How do you get registered?
So you can go to our website, bgcsvaz.org, and then you'll be able to see the information on there. You'll be able to pick what club you want to go to, whichever makes the most sense for your family, and jump on in. I mean, if you register today, you could be on the bus this afternoon, and the kid can have some fun today.
Now, we've mentioned that you've got some grants coming in. You've got money from the charity ride coming this November. But every time you're here, I want to remind people that you do not get money from the national organization.
Definitely not. And in response to that, we actually pay them quite a bit of money. We pay them thousands of dollars each year for their help, their services, and the logo and the national recognized programming that we do. We actually pay them for that. So we don't get funded from the National Boys and Girls Club. We get funded from this community.
So how can the community help you with donations or volunteering?
Yeah, so if you're interested in volunteering, go ahead and call our club, and we'll definitely connect you with that. We have our clubhouse director, Dietrich Miles, at the main branch, who will be able to coordinate that. If you're looking to donate, there's a lot of ways to do it. You can go to our website and make a donation, bgcsvaz.org. The most popular and the one that kind of still blows everybody's mind is the Arizona tax credit. So we're getting kind of close to that time, but 400 single, 800 married, you can donate that and get dollar for dollar back at tax time.
And your tax guy will know what that is. It's one of those that sounds too good to be true,
right?
But it's actually a dollar for dollar. You get every dollar back.
Yeah, so I mean, there was a few years ago, it used to be 200 single, 400 married, and we're like, this is too good to be true. We got to be prepared for them to pull this away. Directing where your tax dollars go. So instead of fixing a road in, I don't know, Buckeye, you know what I mean, you can give it to the kids here in this community. And we were worried they're going to take that away, and all of a sudden they doubled the amount that you're allowed to give to qualifying nonprofit, which the Boys and Girls Club is.
And remember, your tax guy knows all about it, so they can help you out with that donation as well. So
that's right.
All right, so how can they get a hold of you at the Boys and Girls Club? Through websites, Facebook, phone numbers, whatever you want to throw out.
Yeah, so we have on Facebook, Boys and Girls Club of Sierra Vista, website, bgcsvaz.org, and then our phone number is 520-515-1511. And
congratulations on being one of the recipients of the Cochise County Sheriff's Charity Ride's $10,000 this year.
Couldn't be more grateful.
That's going to be awesome. And we are going to spotlight each of these people on that list as we get closer, because we got 10 weeks away. Well, now it's not 10, but 10 charities, and every week we're spotlighting one, just like we are the Boys and Girls Club of Sierra Vista.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in today, Jay. And how do they get a hold of us at the Sheriff's Office?
So reach out. Take a look at our webpage, cochise.az.gov/sheriff, and it has all kinds of cool stuff there. We also have our social media at Cochise County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Mark J. Daniels. That'll give you links to our Instagram and our Twitter account. So take a look-see.
First Watch on KWCD Country. It's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch with the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
Join us again next Friday morning, 7 to 8 a.m.
First Watch.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Only on 92.3 KWCD.